Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis, and today we are going to be talking about Ripple and XRP. So sit back, relax, and before we fully jump on into this video, I do just want to ask guys to please leave a like on this video. It does help the channel grow immensely, and of course I always do greatly appreciate that. Now overall, I am watching a lot of things within this market. More so, I am concerned about Ethereum outperforming Bitcoin. I do believe that Ethereum is still going to lead the way. I've talked about this, but I also think that the entire market is at a full reset area. I actually just talked about this in regards to my Casper video. A lot of these assets are looking like they have a full-on reset in them, meaning hey, we're basically back at, the October 2020 timeframe, which if you guys were here during that time, you'd understand that this was a very bullish time in crypto. This is when we really started to break out, of course, from those lows going back to March of 2020. And we went to the all-time high of, roughly almost 65K. Now, the current structure that we are in currently, we are in this massive sideways trading, but look at the 1-week chart on Bitcoin. We are breaking above the moving average on the RSI. We are still on massive support going back as far as August. And right now, currently, this is the first time that the markets have been in a full-on reset since around this time frame. I'm not the only individual that does see this. We see a lot of individuals talking about this as well. Crypto markets are now at a full reset. The last time was October 2020. In terms of where we are at, right? Like, everything is still at a major point where we could see massive amounts of money flow in that could easily spike us above the all-time high, leading us to some major high targets up here. And of course, I have these major fib levels on the board. So in terms of the areas that we can go to, now this is on the macro view. I want you guys to all realize this. But here are some major levels that we could outreach to. I mean, $280,000 to $300,000 is the major outreach fib levels. I don't believe that we go that high. That's just my current, overall structure view on things. But $110,000 to $180,000 between that range is very clear to me that that will most likely be targeted. I'm targeting like 120K to about like 140K. Like, this is my demand zone. Anything higher than this, it doesn't really matter to me. I just believe that this is where we do see a topping point for Bitcoin. But overall, the structure is being laid out for us. We look very good, but we are also seeing massive adoption happening within crypto as well. Airbnb CEOs, crypto is the most requested feature on Airbnb. I've been talking to you guys about a lot of this, in terms of mass adoption taking place with crypto for a very long time now. But let's talk about the big elephant in the room, which is of course XRP. So I tweeted this out saying, banks are silently failing and the global payment network SWIFT is collapsing before our eyes. Why do you think crypto regulation has been the spotlight of 2022? It's so clear, yet most can't see it. And I've been, addressing this major concern for a very long time within this market. I've been telling you guys to focus on SWIFT because at this current moment in time, we are seeing a massive shift in these markets. First off, we do see our Arab regional fintech group report central bank digital currencies, a practical guide for Arab central banks, mentions Ripple as an alternative system in 2 places. And here we have it, right? So here's examples. Swift GPI, TransferWise, Remitly, Revolt, and then of course RippleNet. Now, I actually use TransferWise on a daily basis for cross-border payments, but it is not nearly as efficient as RippleNet. And I can tell you guys that right now from experience. But of course, this is payment modernization alternatives to CBDCs. And we even see, them mentioned in a few other examples down here. But here's cryptocurrencies on public DLT. One of the first cryptocurrencies designed primarily for payments was Ripple's XRP. And we actually see up here improvements to messaging protocols, but continued reliance on correspondent banking for settlement. I wouldn't even necessarily say that RippleNet is reliant on anything for settlement besides, of course, XRP as a digital asset, because that could basically settle the payment easily. I mean, RippleNet overall, utilizing XRP with the XRP ledger is such a massive opportunity for a lot of these major financial institutions to move in on, to adopt. We also see here, in terms of regulations, we applaud the bipartisan inquiry into the growing trend of broad SEC Gov voluntary information requests to the crypto industry. And of course, if you guys did miss this, basically we are seeing a lot of divergence within the SEC, a lot of, I would say backlash is coming to the SEC currently, because these major politicians and these individuals see the problem, right? Excuse me. We see that these requests, right, are focused on major things. For an example, these requests create an undue financial burden on companies who, in almost every case, need to engage outside counsel to help produce and review the requested information. They are time-consuming, costly, resource-draining, impediments to business operations and innovation. And of course, companies that fail to respond may put themselves at risk of enforcement actions. We support tailored and justifiable requests for market information. We do not support what increasingly looks like the SEC Gov enforcement phishing expeditions targeting the crypto industry. This is the idea that they are over-regulating crypto. They are overstepping their boundaries as well and blatantly attacking crypto. Also, when we are talking about corruption and things like that happening within this market, the SEC Gov is really sparking that massive flame. So I'm just telling you guys right now, things are rapidly, changing within, of course, regulations, but also within the SEC, fight. We also see here Ripple's flagship on-demand liquidity service currently boasts 22 destination markets. Here's Ripple's on-demand liquidity product close to achieving global coverage. Now, all while we're seeing this, we're seeing major talks about Ripple taking the front and center stage for on-demand liquidity through the liquidity hub, through the global coverage in terms of just on-demand liquidity in general. We are also seeing major banks mentioning liquidity as a major, it's a major concern currently. We do see here the service, which was formerly known as XRapid, is currently operating in 22 destination markets, according to Burla. The executive couldn't be happier with the growth experienced by RippleNet. The network wrapped up 2021 with a payment volume run rate of more than $10 billion. Burla points to the fact that crypto is becoming more and more liquid over the years, thus it is becoming easier to move it around the world. Hence, Ripple is able to offer a much better user experience as well. And of course, they're talking about that liquidity hub that will allow enterprises to seamlessly access a slew of trading venues. Burla compared it to Google Flights, a flight booking search service. And I'm telling you guys, when we're talking about everything happening within the space, I'm telling you, focus on liquidity. Liquidity is huge right now. And in terms of regulations, again, less than a quarter into 2022, there's no doubt in my mind this is the year where all eyes will be on crypto regulation. I penned an op-ed for RC Markets on what the crypto industry needs from U.S. policymakers in order to foster American innovation. I want you guys to all understand that this year is absolutely key for mass success within these markets. And of course, all of this is mentioned those individuals within that bipartisan letter. These policymakers recognize the vast potential of these technologies and the consequences of crypto innovation and talent moving overseas without regulatory clarity. The stakes are high. And we actually see here, I was on the phone call with the CEO of the financial services company, and he was saying, I would like to work with you guys, Ripple, but we can't use on-demand liquidity until there is, clarity about how XRP is going to be regulated. And I want you guys to realize that with on-demand liquidity, these major financial, giants want to utilize on-demand liquidity. Why? Because of the efficiencies that do come with it. 60% plus savings rates on massive fees. That is huge. Okay, and all while things are, rapidly moving within crypto, we are seeing, of course, the SEC try to delay. The court allowed each expert witness to submit a report and then a rebuttal report only, so the SEC does a second rebuttal report and calls it a supplemental report, and so Ripple moves to strike it. No, serious, that's basically what's going on here. No, really. This was that major update today on the SEC case. We do see here, what is with the SEC trying to do, all this back and forth with Ripple besides delaying the lawsuit? They must be packing their XRP bags. Did you see the footnote number 1? The SEC game plan is to appeal any adverse decision to Judge Torres, and you guys do see that here as well. I mean, honestly, when we are talking about things happening here, this is just a delay game right now from the SEC side. And I wonder why. Is it because they're trying to make a solution with maybe Ethereum, which we know is never going to work, but maybe they're trying to make an insider, sort of move here on, of course, what Ripple is basically focused on, which is of disrupting this massive financial system. We don't really know exactly what's going on. We just know that they are trying to delay. They are scared of Ripple technology. We've talked about this. We've addressed this. These banks are terrified. They are in panic. And we know that right now, crypto is urgently needed. We also see here Switzerland's banks hold up to $213 billion of Russian wealth. Again, $213 billion. Recently, the Swiss government proposed that public liquidity should be the backstop for big banks if one of the big banks fails. It's all focused on liquidity. These major banks are warning you guys of the warning signs ahead. These banks are failing. We also see our 3-month LIBOR, appears to be indicating strain in the banking system. I want you guys to realize what is happening right now. These are interest rate averages from major banks, and I want you guys to know that this is not looking good. Things are rapidly moving. These banks are running dry. Not only are these banks running dry, but these banks are soon to be failing. I want you guys to all know right now that when we are talking about the massive shift within these markets, it's the collapse of the current financial system. And I know that that sounds like a tinfoil hat sort of wearing sort of idea, but I want you guys to understand everything in terms of the events that started to unfold directly when COVID started. That was the major spark to light the flame. Of course, like I said, I'm not a conspiracy theorist or anything like that, but it really shifted a massive pace within this market. It also shifted a lot of focus on regulatory clarity, on CBDCs, on cross-border payments, on instant settlement, instant payments. And all of that leads us back to one name. And I'm not just saying that it is just XRP. The only reason why I mention XRP in terms of a token is because we know that with Ripple, right? Ripple's on-demand liquidity service, RippleNet in general, right? If you combine the power of RippleNet with XRP as a digital bridge currency, the efficiencies are unmatched by any other asset within the space and any other service out there within the payment scene. This is also why I say that Ripple doesn't need to focus on Swift. They don't even need to try to, rally against Swift because Ripple has already achieved the most incredible efficiencies within the payment network scene. This is also why I say focus your attention on the technology. Focus it on the statistics, the efficiencies compared to what we are utilizing on a day-to-day basis that clears $5 trillion a day. $5 trillion a day, $1.8 quadrillion a year in massive settlements from Swift, which is extremely inefficient. Just imagine if Swift had the speed, the efficiency, the scalability of RippleNet. Just imagine that $5 trillion a day in terms of settlements being spiked by 2 times, by 3 times, by 4 times. Who knows the amount of volume that Ripple could utilize or move, I should say, on a day-to-day basis rather than Swift. It is absolutely mind-blowing when you actually look at the value behind XRP, not only as a bridge currency, but the fuel that will allow these financial institutions, these banks, these major players within fintech to really achieve in terms of payments. And it's absolutely mind-blowing that a lot of individuals are just looking the other way. And that is exactly why I say it is so clear, yet most can't see it. With that being said, I hope that you all enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, up to you all. Have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. It's been Nick. Peace out, guys.